Picture a cozy evening. Perhaps you're settling in with a warm plate of macaroni and cheese and a side of garlic bread, or maybe a savory slice of pizza, washed down with an ice-cold soda. It's a familiar comfort, isn't it? But what if I told you that these cherished food pairings could be silently setting the stage for a stroke? Every year in the United States, nearly 800,000 people suffer a stroke. For adults over 60, that risk climbs even higher. And it isn't just about genetics or high blood pressure. We're now learning that the very foods we place on our plates, especially in combination, might be a hidden culprit. Today, I want to gently walk you through something that could literally change your next meal, and perhaps the course of your health. We're diving into 6 innocent-looking food combinations that could be quietly increasing your risk of a stroke. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to look out for you, like a friend who cares about what's on your plate and what lies ahead on your journey. So, before you plan your next meal, stay with me for a few moments. Some of the combinations we'll discuss are ones we grew up loving, which is what makes this so surprising. But don't worry, we'll also talk about better choices, simple shifts, not drastic diets. If you're curious and maybe a little concerned, drop a 1 in the comments. If you're feeling skeptical or unsure, that's okay too. Drop a 0. And please, don't forget to subscribe to Health 365, where we have heart-to-heart conversations about the things that matter most to your well-being. Now, let's begin with the first food duo that might be putting your health at risk, without you even realizing it: macaroni and cheese with a side of garlic bread. It's a meal that feels like a warm blanket, a classic comfort food many of us have cherished since childhood. It's creamy, savory, easy to make, and deeply satisfying. But behind that comforting flavor lies a not-so-cozy truth. This combination, especially when eaten regularly, might be quietly increasing your stroke risk. Let's break it down. Traditional mac and cheese is made from refined white pasta, loaded with full-fat cheese and butter. This means a high dose of saturated fat, sodium, and simple carbohydrates. Then there's the garlic bread, usually white bread slathered with butter or margarine and dusted with salt. The result is a meal high in salt, unhealthy fats, and sugars from refined carbs, all of which are key players in raising blood pressure, thickening the blood, and hardening your arteries over time. A 2019 study in the journal Nutrients found that diets high in saturated fat and refined carbohydrates can impair endothelial function, the ability of your blood vessels to relax and maintain healthy circulation. This is critical because poor endothelial function is a major early warning sign of stroke. Think of it like having weak spots in a garden hose. As the pressure builds, one day it could burst. Imagine it's dinner time. You're tired, and you crave something comforting. A big helping of mac and cheese with a slice or 2 of garlic bread feels harmless. But what you don't feel is your blood pressure rising, your insulin levels spiking, or your arteries narrowing bit by bit with every repeat meal. It's a slow, silent process, easy to miss until something goes wrong. The good news? You don't have to give up this comfort. You just have to reimagine it. Start with whole grain pasta, which provides fiber to help stabilize blood sugar. Use a blend of low-fat cheese and perhaps some unsweetened almond milk for a lighter, heart-friendly creaminess. Add in steamed spinach, broccoli, or peas for nutrients your brain will love. As for the garlic bread, try sourdough or whole grain slices brushed with olive oil and fresh garlic. Still flavorful, still satisfying, but so much better for your heart. Comfort food should comfort your future, not compromise it. Next, let's move to a cozy lunchtime combo that may be saltier than you ever imagined. You reach into the pantry, grab a can of soup, and toss a few slices of white bread into the toaster. It feels like the perfect quick lunch. Warm, filling, and simple. But what if that innocent pairing of canned soup and white bread could be quietly pushing your blood pressure through the roof? Canned soups are notorious for being loaded with sodium. A single serving can contain as much as 800 to 1,000 milligrams. And let's be honest, who stops at just one serving? Now add 2 slices of white bread, which may not taste salty, but can still contribute around 250 milligrams more. Suddenly, in one meal, you're approaching, or even surpassing, the daily recommended limit. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, excess sodium is a leading cause of high blood pressure, one of the most powerful risk factors for stroke, especially in older adults. Here's the science. High sodium intake causes your body to retain water. This increases the volume of blood your heart has to pump, which in turn raises blood pressure and, over time, damages the delicate lining of your blood vessels. For seniors, this dietary stress can be particularly dangerous. It can thicken the blood and narrow the arteries, setting the stage for a stroke. Think of your blood vessels as that garden hose again. If you turn the water pressure up too high, too often, the hose will eventually start to wear down, crack, or even burst. That's what a constant high-sodium diet can do inside your brain. But you don't have to cancel soup. You can enjoy this comforting meal safely. Look for low-sodium or no-salt-added canned soups. Better yet, try making your own at home, where you control the ingredients. And instead of white bread, opt for whole grain or sprouted bread. They offer more fiber and fewer simple carbs, helping to stabilize blood sugar and support your vascular health. Now, let's turn to a combo that's often a go-to for movie nights or quick dinners, something cheesy, bubbly, and just a little too sweet. You've had a long day, it's late, and nothing sounds better than a slice of hot, cheesy pizza and a cold soda. It's a meal that hits all the right spots: salty, sweet, warm, and fizzy. But when you put these two together, you might be setting your cardiovascular system up for a rough night. Cheese pizza on its own is a heavy hitter. It's high in saturated fat from the cheese, loaded with sodium from the sauce and processed meats, and packed with refined carbs in the crust. Now pair that with a sugary soda. A single can can hold 39 grams of sugar, and you have a combination that spikes both your blood sugar and your blood pressure in one sitting. According to a 2020 study in the British Medical Journal, meals high in refined carbs and sugars are linked with a significant increase in cardiovascular events. And here's what's really tricky. When you eat this combination late in the evening, the effects are even more pronounced. Your body is winding down, and digestion slows. The sugar spike from the soda hits harder and lasts longer, causing a stronger insulin response. Meanwhile, the salt and fat from the pizza make your blood thicker, slowing circulation and increasing the workload on your heart just as it's preparing to rest. The result is a night of silent strain and a higher risk of stroke. Imagine you're trying to park a car at night. Everything should be calm and slow. But instead, you slam on the gas and crank the wheel. That's what a late-night pizza and soda does to your body. It jolts your system when it should be settling down. So, what can you do differently? If pizza is your go-to, try making it at home with a whole wheat crust, low-fat cheese, and fresh veggies. Skip the pepperoni and sausage, which add even more sodium. As for the drink, switch the soda for sparkling water with a splash of lemon. You'll still get that fizzy satisfaction without the sugar overload. And most importantly, try to enjoy heavier meals earlier in the day. Giving your heart and brain a break at night can go a long way. Next, let's head over to another crowd pleaser, one you'll find in almost every diner and drive-thru. You're driving home? It's been a long day, and the smell from the fast food lane is just too tempting. A juicy burger and a side of crispy French fries. It's practically an American tradition. But when it comes to stroke risk, this classic combo might be one of the most dangerous meals you can grab on the go. Let's break it down. Fast food burgers are often made with processed meats that are high in saturated fat and sodium. Add a large portion of fries, typically fried in oils that can contain trans fats. The result is a double dose of artery-damaging compounds that don't just raise your cholesterol, they ignite inflammation in the lining of your blood vessels. According to the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, trans fats and high levels of sodium are both linked to endothelial dysfunction. In simpler terms, the inner walls of your blood vessels become irritated, inflamed, and less able to regulate blood flow. Over time, this can lead to narrowed arteries, blood clots, and ultimately, stroke. And here's the real kicker. These foods also make your blood stickier. This increases your risk of forming clots, especially if you're dehydrated or already dealing with blood pressure issues. So, while that burger and fries might feel like a quick energy boost, they're actually creating the perfect storm for a vascular event. But you can still enjoy these flavors. Try making your own burger at home using lean ground turkey or a plant-based patty. Grill it instead of frying and load it up with lettuce, tomato, and avocado. For the fries, bake them at home with a little olive oil and your favorite herbs. You'll get all the crunch without the harmful fats. Every meal is a chance to make a better choice for your heart and brain. Now, let's move from the drive-thru to something a bit more refined. A pairing that shows up on party platters and holiday tables. You're at a gathering with friends or family. There's a lovely platter on the table. Thin slices of cold cuts, an assortment of cheeses, and a few crackers on the side. It feels elegant and easy to snack on. But behind that sophistication, this duo of cold cuts and cheese might be hardening your arteries faster than you think. Let's start with the cold cuts. Processed meats like ham and salami are typically packed with sodium and preservatives, like sodium nitrite. These chemicals have been linked to vascular problems. A large study published in Circulation found that regular consumption of processed meats significantly increased the risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Now, add cheese to the mix, especially full-fat types, and you're adding even more saturated fat and sodium. Here's where it gets dangerous. When nitrates from the meat meet the saturated fat in cheese, they can contribute to arterial stiffness. This makes your blood vessels less flexible, reducing healthy blood flow to the brain. Over time, this combination can impair circulation and make the brain more vulnerable to strokes caused by blocked blood vessels. Think of your arteries like a rubber band that's lost its stretch, stiff and prone to snapping under pressure. So, what can you do at your next gathering? Instead of skipping the platter, make a few smart swaps. Choose nitrate-free cold cuts, which are now widely available. Opt for part-skim cheeses or smaller portions of sharp cheese to get more flavor with less volume. And be sure to add fresh veggies and fruits like grapes, cherry tomatoes, or cucumbers to the mix. They help balance the salt and fat while offering hydration and antioxidants. You don't have to skip the celebration, you just have to protect your brain while you enjoy it. Finally, let's move to something even more familiar, a sweet, crunchy breakfast that so many of us grew up with. There's something nostalgic about a bowl of sweet cereal swimming in whole milk. It might remind you of childhood, or it might just be your go-to on a rushed morning. But this simple, sugary duo, while comforting, could be quietly sabotaging your blood sugar and increasing your stroke risk. Most sugary cereals are made with refined grains and packed with added sugars. Add whole milk, which contains saturated fat and its own natural sugars, and you've created a fast track for a blood sugar spike, followed by a crash. This rapid rise and fall doesn't just leave you feeling sluggish. It places repeated stress on your insulin system and blood vessels. A study in the journal Stroke found that individuals with consistently high insulin levels had a significantly greater chance of developing clots and experiencing mini-strokes. Over time, this roller coaster of sugar and fat can lead to insulin resistance, abnormal cholesterol levels, and an inflammatory state that primes the body for stroke. Imagine taking that first sweet, satisfying spoonful. Inside your bloodstream, sugar floods your system, insulin surges to manage it, and fats from the milk thicken the mix. Your blood becomes less efficient at flowing through your arteries. If those vessels are already stiff or narrow, the risk of a blockage goes up. So, how can you enjoy breakfast without the hidden dangers? Swap sugary cereals for high-fiber, low-sugar options like steel-cut oats or unsweetened bran flakes. Use low-fat or plant-based milks like almond or oat milk to reduce saturated fat. And consider adding a handful of berries or a sprinkle of cinnamon for natural sweetness without the crash. It's not about cutting everything out. It's about making choices that protect your brain and power your day. Now that we've walked through these 6 surprising food combinations, let's bring it all together. It's easy to overlook the impact of our daily meals, especially the ones we've been enjoying for decades. But today, you've taken a powerful step. You've learned how some of our most familiar food pairings could be quietly increasing your stroke risk. And the good news is, change doesn't have to be drastic. By swapping ingredients, rethinking how you combine foods, and making small, mindful choices, you can protect your brain and your heart, starting today. You have more control over your health than you might think, and every little choice adds up. If this video helped you see your meals in a new light, please share it with someone you care about. Comment below with a 1 if you're ready to make a change, or a 0 if you're still thinking it over. And don't forget to subscribe to Health 365 for more tips that can truly change lives. You're never too old to take charge of your health, and we're honored to be here, walking this journey with you.